Yeah, just open for any type of hack there is out there. Yeah, understand.
Mm-hmm. So I had a thought I want to share with you guys. That's it. No, I got more to that. Since we made it an entire year, or this is the year anniversary of our committee, and I would like to suggest that we propose to the select board a change to our it's not our bylaws, our contract. What's the word I'm looking for? Our
charter.
Thank you. A change to our charter to allow people who are not Southampton citizens to be members of our committee, such that Megan can join our committee officially. I've been thinking about that, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, she's attended many meetings. Just because originally I wrote down, well, what should be in a charter? I don't know. They should probably be Southampton residents. But you have a connection to the town, so it could say Southampton residents or people who work in Southampton or some other bounds around it. But I think that we should propose a change to the charter to allow Megan to join.
We should have that capability. I mean, this is an ad hoc committee. This
right.
is not anything more than an ad hoc committee. So I totally agree with you. And we do it on the Conservation Commission. We can allow people from outside. They can participate. So it's nothing new.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I would like to.
Well, there's the person right there. Just
is Chris there? I can't tell.
Yeah, she's here. She just joined.
She's frozen, I think.
Oh, she's frozen. That's why. It might be a nice day to be frozen. Actually, it's pretty hot up there. Sorry, the jokes don't get any better. So she comes back out. That's the suggestion or the thought that ran through my head that I wanted to bring up today.
That's a good one, yeah.
And then the second thing I want to, since this is the 1 year anniversary, and when I originally started the group, I said I will be the lead for 1 year, right? So I would like to officially hold. I guess what would it be? The opening election for the chair for that position. I think Mike Jager's been trying it out, so I would what's the word? Nominate. Thank you. Him as a candidate for that position.
I'll second that.
All right. Is there anybody else who is interested in the position at this time?
Everyone's like,
okay, so I guess we'll take a vote, right? So I guess my last act as the chair of this committee, I'll call for a vote for Mike Jager to become the chair of this Ad Hoc Technology Committee. So Mike Jager, how do you vote?
I vote aye, I suppose.
Well, good. I'm glad, because that would have been really awkward. Let's see who next. Art Lawrence.
Aye.
Chris, do you vote?
No, non-voting.
Non-voting. David.
Right.
Dan.
Aye.
And Chris, one of the so we'll say this passed unanimously. The thing that I had just spoken of before this was I wanted to make, before my last other act as chair of the committee was to change our charter to allow members who are not Southampton residents to be part of this committee, such as Megan. I think she has proven herself. She's attended the meetings. So I would like to propose to the select board that we amend our charter to allow people from who say have connections, work in the town, or we can just say like the Concom is just, you don't have to be a resident to be a member. So.
Okay, but you've got to have relevant IT skills or something, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. All the other
All the other stuff. Okay.
things apply, but we would remove the restriction on residency. So
Okay. Probably we should just run that by, since select board appointed the committee. We'd probably run that by members on Tuesday night when we meet. We can do that.
Yep.
So if you want to if you have a copy of that charter, you want to shoot
mark
it at
up
me.
the charter. Yep.
Yeah, mark it up and pass it on to me. And if you can get it to me by tomorrow, that would be great, because then it can get in our packages for Tuesday.
All right. I will do that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And that would mean that the next meeting we can vote if Megan can join. I don't know.
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being in attendance all these times. I think
I've enjoyed it. I think I honestly spend more time in Southampton than I do West Springfield.
Very good. So without further ado, I turn the gavel over to Mike Jager.
All right, thanks, Dan. Thanks everyone for joining. And I think the agenda, we had two folks send in. Dan sent in some agenda additions. Art sent some in agenda additions. So what I'd like to do is just going forward, as for the next year, as I'm chair, is sort of a housekeeping thing. As we go into each meeting, let's take a look at the meeting minutes from last meeting real fast, and then get consensus and a vote on whether we can approve those meeting minutes, and then we can blast them out to the site so folks can look at them and know what we're up to. And I was informed that, posting draft minutes was not required in my life. That's all required to do that. And so I won't do the draft minutes on the public forum. The draft minutes will be shared amongst just us. Right. And then everyone can, get a look at them before the meeting starts, and then that we can approve the minutes. And then I'll do the housekeeping to get the minutes from the previous meeting posted after the meeting's concluded. So with that, I guess I'll, if you guys want to give me a second, I'll grab the minutes. We can take a look at them real fast and get those approved real quick. I think last time we met was the 9th, right?
Yep.
Okay. See if I can share my screen. Screen 2. Can everybody see my screen here? Let's see. Okay, so attendance. We need to go through the minutes, or I think the one thing I want to look at is did I capture these proposed technology questions correctly, and were there ones I missed, that kind of stuff. That's really what I want to see in these minutes. But we did talk about, we talked about Dan stepping down, I'm stepping up.
The one thing I don't see is I sent out the survey because we wanted to interview or talk to the lead. I don't know what's the right term. The leads of the different departments in town on their I think it was they have a Thursday meeting, and we were going to attend one of those. So
that's the survey in the other business, I think, there. Right.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. Last time we talked about the phone system and the CARES laptops, and I think there were 7 remaining to be deployed. Is that correct?
Yeah, 7 or 8, I believe. Yep.
Okay. Everything good here? What we said here for the CARES laptops? All right. So, and Dan, I think this is what you're talking about with the survey questions for the town users.
Yeah.
We were capturing these guys right here. Let me move these down so you can see. We had what's keeping you from being most productive, and we gave them some examples because we didn't want them coming back with like some corny stuff. Are you accessing servers? And we gave them some yes, no's. Have you installed a major update from Windows? We're trying to get a feel for their experience level. Did you get a laptop? If you did, is it good? or bad? Who are you calling when things break? And are you a VPN user? And I think we also discussed, Ed discussed, there's a UPS situation going on at Town Hall. He was going to look into that and have an electrician look into that. So jumping back to the questions, Dan, did we capture everything?
I guess the one part maybe we're going to talk about it at this meeting is when do we want to, or how do we want to meet with them in person? Do we want to send this out as an electronic survey to them? How do we want to get the answers to these questions from them?
Yeah, we'll move on to that. Let's,
okay.
Do we have, can someone have a motion to approve our minutes from the 9th meeting?
So
Or do we have any, wait, Megan's got I see Megan raise
just, it's not a big deal. My name is just incorrectly spelled.
G, just no H?
Yeah, no H. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have my Google contact, have you in there with an H maybe, so maybe that's why I
No
said
problem.
that, did that. Okay, I'll fix that.
Happens all the time.
Okay, and I'll clean this up before I post it. Content is really what I'm after here, is like, do we miss anything? Are there inaccuracies?
No, I think the idea was that if there was going to be a department heads meeting, usually on a Thursday, that somebody might try to attend that meeting. That might have been what we discussed at one point, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, so should I say here that the survey developed for department heads meeting instead of technology users?
yeah, I think that's correct. And I did see some emails sent out to the last department head meeting I thought to discuss this, so, or some of it anyways.
Okay. All right, so I'll ask for a motion to approve these minutes, and like I said, I'll clean them up before I post them. I think I heard. So moved. Okay.
Correct.
Seconded.
Okay. And we'll approve the motion. The minutes are approved. We're not going to have a vote on these. We'll just, if anyone objects, you can just say it now, and then we'll move forward. I'll post these guys, and suddenly end this session here. And for today. Okay, so I did not have time to push stuff that people sent me into the agenda. I apologize. I know Art contacted me and Dan contacted me. So let's start with our old reports first, and then I want Dan and Art, if they could, to refresh me and the rest of the group on the new business that you guys wanted to bring up. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, very good. So the phone system, I know there were some new developments with that. David and Megan were kind of like working together as a power team on this one. So if anybody wants, from either David or Megan, want to give us an update.
Yeah, so I think going back to the last time we were talking about this, we were looking at available budget, what had been proposed for the TPX system from Valley Communications, and then trying to see if we could balance that with the bandwidth upgrade for Town Hall. There was a lot of upfront cost in terms of purchasing the phones, something like $3,000 for purchasing the phones from Valley. So I had gone back to Chris Sorensen at Valley to see if they had an option where they lease the handsets, so the upfront cost could come down. Part of that budget for this year, next year, could be applied towards the bandwidth upgrade. And he did come back and he did provide essentially two options, saying this is the rental or lease option, and then this is the upfront purchase option. So I think, long story short, I've got them up here. Trying to see what the overall cost was for the rental option. $373.51 looks to be the rented option. The upfront purchase would be $3,559.10, non-recurring. That's your upfront cost for the handsets, and then $244.26 recurring.
Monthly, that is, I guess.
Yeah, per month. And I think we were at about $550 for the current Verizon offering. So this offers cost savings with no upfront, which even frees up a little extra cash for the upgrade. So the bandwidth upgrade. I don't remember. I know, Megan, you had compiled the cost for the from the ISP from Spectrum. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was way too high in comparison. Just trying to get that up here. And also, I just want to say, I haven't heard from Kim. I know she said she was on vacation, but we kind of just stopped communicating. So I don't know if anyone else has heard from her.
She did send me a message saying she was going on vacation, as you said. That's all I heard.
Okay.
She was recently, I think she was, I'll have to double check. I think she was trying to get on the Easthampton media board.
Okay.
Maybe
which you are a member of now, right?
Yeah.
Mike, right.
Yes. But I don't know if that's something that's like, oh, I'm going to do this and not this, and I don't know. But I do know she put in for that.
She did. From what I heard from Easthampton Media, though, she hasn't attended the required number of meetings yet. So it probably won't be until the fall for her. You're on, Mike, but Kim may not be into the fall.
Okay.
So for the, sorry, go ahead.
No. Sorry, Megan, I cut you off.
So for the charter, the 50 by 50 plus phone service and equipment, for 36 months, it was $1,150 recurring, is what I would say per month. And then 60 months for 50 by 50 is $1,050, so $100 off. And then 100 by 100 plus phone service and equipment for 36 months is $1,275, and then 60 months is $1,175. So it's quite a difference.
And there were some broadband options as well, right?
Not in this quote. I don't recall getting that info. Did I share that info by accident? Let's see. Oh, you're talking about from Ed, I think.
That could be. It was their non-fiber option, because
right.
Fiber was definitely out of the question.
Right.
So it sounds like charter's kind of really off the table, right?
Charter fiber.
Charter fiber, yeah.
Oh, right here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen once again, if that's okay.
Sure.
And let me just open.
Ed's coming in from the dark here.
There's a moon behind him.
Watch out. I'm from the dark side.
We're figuring out ways to save you money, Ed. You'll like this conversation.
So this was, let me just get this different one out here. So I believe this was the broadband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Referring to.
So the reason I'm sharing is because of the formatting thing, so we can kind of work together to see how it lines up.
Yeah, and I think so the current bill was at that 115-ish
Right.
Cost somewhere around there.
And this is just for internet. So phones weren't included in this.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess just at quick glance, I mean, if we're at, what was the rented option? 373, we've got a little bit to play with, which we could easily absorb that tier 2, 600 megs down, 35 up.
Tier 3 doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because your up doesn't really go up. Your up doesn't go up.
Yeah.
So
the up is supposed to go up.
So yeah, I'd say go for tier 2. With the cost savings you get with the telephones. And what's the net cost on all that come out to?
373 plus 200, so 573.51.
And what do we pay right now for phone and internet?
650, 665. I'm just ballparking on the 115 and the 550. I know those numbers are round.
A little less than $100 less a month for better phone service and better internet service.
Yeah.
Right? Sounds like a win. So I guess we're going to be talking to the select board next time they meet. Anyways, is this something we want to propose to them?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I guess Ed and Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm coming in a little late, so I'll.
Yeah. Fill that in, but I mean, you're talking about getting sat phones and then going to tier 2 on the existing charter. Is that right?
Right.
And how many sat phones was that going to be? Or how many? How many phone sets rather?
Let me look.
I think it was like 19, 16, and 3.
Yeah, that could be, because I know it was broken out between the transfer station, the highway department, and town hall. It's like town hall is 16. Transfer station is 1. 2 at the highway department?
Does the transfer station have internet?
Yeah.
They do?
No.
No.
I believe they do.
Okay. Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They have a handset phone though.
Why do they need it?
We're counting phones, right?
Yeah, but we'd have to, if the transfer station is going to use a voice over IP phone, they would need an Ethernet connection or network connection.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's my question: is does the transfer station have a Ethernet network connection?
Not for 2 days, a week, I hope.
So perhaps they don't. They would not be joining into this group. They would stay with a telephone, a POTS telephone, right?
I would have to, I guess, if there's no broadband there.
Yep.
I mean, would your voice over IP, that would include maybe like the other outliers, might be the library and police and fire, or no? Yes? I think we need to understand the users of the voice over IP phones, so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we should break this down by user, by location, and to be fully transparent, I didn't do much of that. I took the existing quote and I said, can you make this all MRC?
Yeah, so let me ask this question. Is the phone system like need to be overhauled in every single building the town operates? Or is it just town hall?
I think town hall is a big victory.
Town hall for sure. There's no question about it.
Because they don't have like services like voicemail and things like that I know of.
We've got nothing. I mean,
So
What about the library? I'm just trying to get, library has nothing too? Just a POTS phone with,
Yeah.
It's one department, right? It's one thing you call into, right? You know.
Yeah.
okay, I didn't know what if they had like, like dial 1 for the librarian, dial 2 for whatever,
Nobody has that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I would say it this way, like the town hall is the requirement or like the base that we want to achieve. Library or the police station, the fire station, those are all goals and would be supplemental. And then I don't think we can do the transfer station, but let's propose doing the town hall, because that would get the network upgrade and get their phones into a modern era. So our townspeople will be able to call and leave messages and all that good stuff.
Transfer calls.
Transfer all the things that you're used to.
Yeah, things we can't do now.
So I will say my only concern here remains the internet, the stability of the internet connection, and just maintaining voice quality. So I think that's probably something that we can explore a little bit further, but I think we're on the right track. I think that some of the things we looked at we discussed was maybe looking at the firewall to see if there's any settings we can do in the firewall to help kind of shape bandwidth to protect voice, or if there's any other appliance that potentially Valley Communications would or could install that would do something similar, just to make sure that voice. I'd hate to move to next generation phone system and then somebody goes crazy on Netflix and all of a sudden nobody can hear each other. So I'll always be a broken record on that. So
let me ask a question. Who would do Valley Communications would do the installation of the phones? Or would they just say, here's your phones, here you go?
That's a good question. I mean, I think maybe next step would be to try to hit on some of those items, have a conversation with whether it's Chris Sorensen or one of his techs to kind of poke and prod at some of those things so we understand what that'll look like. A lot of the time in this day and age, a lot of the time they'll a VoIP provider will ship you a box of phones that are pre-configured and they say plug them into the internet.
And life is good.
Let us know if you have problems.
Yeah, and speaking of that, if there is problems, I'm assuming either way, whether we buy the phones outright or do the lease option, there's a support option there somewhere, or no?
In terms of support down the road, like, hey, we're having problems with this, or hey, we need to make some changes, reset voicemail and stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm asking dumb questions because I honestly don't know what goes into this as far as maintenance goes. So I'm thinking like, yeah, exactly things you're talking about. Departments change or whatever, and there's some programming that needs to be done. If that's even the case,
David,
would they be handling that?
Yeah. Excuse me, but I wonder, can we get a representative here at maybe the next meeting, and we can hit the fire? I mean, I'm worried about ports, things of this nature. How big the switch is,
right?
And do they have splitters or whatever? Right? We need to think about that also.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I know we were talking about available capacity on the switch, the PoE switch that's in Town Hall. Do we have enough ports to plug this all in? Because if they're going through POTS right now, if they're going through, that Verizon, it could just be punched down. It could just be super basic. So, maybe that's something that's something, one of us, I'll volunteer to go at least just take a look at the switch, understand what we have available, what's actually patched in.
Looks like the switch is maxed out as far as I can tell, and and as far as the I think it's pretty close to maxed out. But they may have, like I say, they may have splitters or such that can be used to keep departments up as far as their internet.
Yeah.
Also.
The other thing is a lot of the time you can laser fan the phone, so you can plug the, you can plug the PC into the phone into the wall. It's not ideal, but you can certainly do that.
I have one thing to add on the installation. On the estimate, it does say on the second, when it breaks here, hold on, I'll just share the screen. When it breaks down each site individually, it does show professional installation of equipment, but at 0. So I don't know if we just have to if that's an add-on to do, but so originally, so right here, it says there are a total of 19 telephones over 3 sites, but this equals 20. So I'm not sure where that comes into play. And then of course, on this first estimate, we still have Southampton, New York. So a couple of things still need to be ironed out. And then, so there is a line item for it. It's just at 0. And then same down here, 0 and 0 again. So,
okay. So it looks like it's included, and I was looking at the purchase option and it's all zeroed out as well too. So I didn't know if they were trying to absorb that into the lease or rental price. That's a good catch.
I'm going to pop out for a minute, guys. I've got somebody at the door. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Overall, it feels like we're on the right track, though. I'd say this seems like a positive direction for the town. Yeah. So, I would perhaps back off my statement of presenting it at the next town meeting until we have more of the details figured out, and maybe we'll talk about what are the questions we need to answer first.
Yeah, I think that vaguely can be discussed that we're cooking something up here for the phones, but I totally agree with you, Dan, that we should wait until David has some information on the switch and whatnot, and even like Art said, those guys could tell us what's going to be needed and if that quote's going to be good or not. And once they take a look at the space, I guess, or talk to some experts who have seen the space, like Art and David.
David, I can make myself available if needed. If you're going to have a representative come in, and I can certainly take them around town hall and down in Randall's place.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen town hall. I haven't seen much else. I mean, I've been to the transfer station. I should correct myself there.
So, can I ask a question I don't know the answer to? So does the fire department have internet, and is there potential cost savings for them as well, or do they handle their own phone system because it involves 911 and all those good things?
They do have internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think right now, although it's probably, you could consider it a separate phone system, all those phones are on that one Verizon bill that come to town hall and we pay.
Okay, so they're already using some type of internet-based phone system.
Not necessarily. It could be it could be a regular one, but like I say, they do have separate internet there. Highway pays for a separate internet charge with Charter Spectrum. I haven't seen necessarily one that I remember from the library, but they probably do also. And they're, like I say, their phones are billed on that one Verizon bill to us. I can tell you the police department already has a voice over IP phone system.
Here's what I would like to propose. I would like to propose that we pursue only upgrading town hall for now, and we use that as the first project because that's where it's most needed. It's one location. Trying to cover multiple locations across town may be something we do in the next iteration, but let's get a win in town hall and see how it goes by upgrading their network speed as well. Before we say, let's go out to, let's also include these other departments, this, and this. Let's get town hall solid. Would anybody like to second that motion? Or?
I'll second that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's totally a good way to go about it. And once we have that done, we'll have springboards for we'll know what to do with the other ones, you know.
I will say, just from a deployment perspective, doing the biggest site first always scares the crap out of me.
It's one of the easier ones too, right? I mean, it's all there in one place.
True.
You got to think big is like.
Well, excuse me, Dan.
I apologize.
No. We still need to do our homework. We still need to get somebody in there to take a look at it and so on and so forth, or bring them to a meeting or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the ideal, and because it's a mess. It really needs to be cleaned up. I hear complaints all the time from citizens.
Yeah, so I just want to scope the project as the town hall phone upgrade, not the Southampton municipality phone upgrade, right?
Sounds like a project engineer doing his duty here.
Am I talking engineering talk? It's what I do all day. I can't help it.
All right. So we'll wait. I guess we'll wait for David and Art. We'll give them time to collect data on what needs to happen next with the vendor, with the phones and the internet, and we'll get a report back, and then we'll decide next meeting how to move forward. That sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Do we want to try to capture some of the questions we would have for the vendor themselves while we've got everyone here? Just so if we are able to land somebody from Valley on the next call, we're just ready. You know, we've already talked through, here's the questions, concerns that we have.
You can even send it to them.
Yeah, it's pretty much hardware related, right? So what I'm hearing is, does our hardware support, our infrastructure support a new?
Yeah, so there's, I guess there's a couple things to think about is, you know, are they doing some sort of analysis or assessment on the internet connection as it exists now? Are there specific ports that need to be open to allow the phones to register back to the TPX core? Who's going to do that? Is that a Northeast thing? Do they have the access to make those changes in switches and firewalls? Not that Valley would know that, but I'm just kind of thinking for our purposes. Does the existing hardware have the capability to do the quality of service, which will prioritize the voice traffic? Is that something that Valley addresses or can address? Do they have a unit that they're going to be putting in?
So
I would say overall support and then, training, setup, all that usual stuff.
I have a question about, because I just tried to Google it to see what is a typical voice over IP used for data during a call? Like, what's the bit rate?
Very small.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it sounds like it's like playing an MP3 file. It's like 100 kilobits per second. So I don't know if we should, the data rate, I guess it's more like quality of service.
It's protecting the voice traffic because it's very small, but it's also very sensitive. And if you lose any packets on a voice call, everything goes south. So, we just want to get those guardrails up somehow. The only way to really do that without investing in hardware and then having licenses associated to that is really to have a dedicated, voice circuit. Which I don't think we want to do or can do financially.
Okay, well, I'll be in touch with Casey. If I hear anything about the glasses, I'll let you know.
You
It
guys-
sounds like David has all the questions, it sounds like.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think we're going to make a lot of people happy if we get this in, and it's really going to be great for the town too.
Okay. All right, so let's do that. Art, we'll figure out a time to go to town hall. We'll take a look at, you know, the switch. I'd like to see what activity we have there. I'd like to get, actually I already have the information from the last time I was there in terms of the firewall and the other equipment that we have there. So maybe we can do a little research on quality of service to see if that's something that either that Sonic wall, I think it was,
Sonic wall, yeah.
Can do for free, because I know Sonic Wall has certain features that they'll gladly turn on for you.
Oh gosh. I know what that means.
For $500 for 3 years.
Yeah.
All right, when you guys figure out when you're going to meet, can you just send me a ping on that? If I'm available, I'd like to join you, if that's okay. If I can't make it, I can't make it, but I don't want you to have to reschedule anything just for me, but if I can make the time you guys meet, I'm going to see if I can get there.
Cool. All right, anything else on phones?
No, sounds
I think we got a pretty
promising.
good plan in place. Yeah.
Okay, do you, Mike, would it be helpful if I just fired off an email to you with the questions that I would want, and we can capture that in the minutes, or if for any reason I'm not able to ask those questions, so the group has them?
Yeah, get them to me. Minutes. I think we'll put them on the Google Drive maybe and reference them or something. I don't know if I want to include them in the minutes for everyone to see, but yeah, get them to me and I'll figure out how we'll store them. And that way they'll make them accessible to the team and you.
Should we send them to the vendor also so they're aware of what we're thinking about?
Yeah, I think when we're finalized, when we have a full set, David can like send them out or like take them with him and be armed with those.
Yep. And again, I mean, a lot of this they could probably answer via email,
Yeah.
In case there's any red flags. But I think it would make sense for us to sit down with somebody from the vendor side, regardless. But we can probably get some of those details hammered out. I'm sure Chris Sorensen can send those back.
Yeah, I just hate to surprise them, you know.
1 second. All right. So no new. That's it. That's all the business for the phone system. I got plenty of notes here. I'm not like Dan. I can't take notes and type at the same time. I'm writing them down. CARES laptops.
Yeah, I say I like this because I can actually think about the topics we're discussing. This is much better than having to type away. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So CARES laptops, do we have any new additions? I know Chris sent in a note that she was correcting some stuff I had done in the draft minutes, and she said she was having some issues with some graphics. I think she was seeing a line in her screen, and I'm just curious if there's been any other reports on the laptops.
I don't think that was me. If you're talking about this, Chris, I said in something just correcting the number that you said that needed to be installed from 4 to 8. I think that's all I said. But I think you guys were working on another date with Wally because they showed up and didn't have what they needed to do, right? So.
You told me that. All right, sorry about that. I thought that was you.
No worries. So I think it was last week, Dan, you had pinged me to say that you had caught up with Ed. I sent Ed a note just so we can connect, because I think that especially with so many little things going on and understanding what we have in front of us, and then I think there was a couple kind of gaps in the deployment plan on Wally's side, or you know, whatever was presented to them. Ed and I are going to try to connect for a phone call and really kind of, I'd like to put together a punch list of here's the items that are outstanding from the previous deployments. Here's the remaining deployments and schedule time with them. I think the other question or the variable there was how much of the time that was originally allocated to their deployments have they used up? Is there anything left? If not, how do we cover funding?
It's all used up, but basically what I will do is ask to transfer some CARES Act funds from projects we haven't done back into this one.
Okay.
Is it fair to say it's about 50%? We're going to need 50% of what we spent already to finish it? Seems like we put about half of them in.
Yeah, they've only deployed half, haven't they?
No, they've deployed less than half. So I would say I'll have to go back and see what we ended up, because I had some dollars funded on the original invoice, and then we ended up paying a little bit more than that. So I can extrapolate from that what we'll need.
Okay.
But we don't know whether we can nail them down for a date or two in July yet.
I think we might be able to get them for one day in July. But I actually don't want to book that until David and I get together and put out the punch list to send back to him and say, okay, here's what we expect. Here it is up front. And, these things need to be taken care of.
Right.
Whether it's setting up the licenses for the Microsoft 365, which they didn't do this last time around, which kiboshed the whole thing, or the fact of going back and putting back together that build, even though I know that Rolf's got it on one of his USB drives, because I know David had come back and after trying to do a build, I think he recommended just basically removing 5 items from what was pre-installed on those laptops. And then the other thing was, the only thing we added to that was the Sophos, but I want to make sure that they get the Sophos back on there. And then maybe we, like I say, with David and I putting our heads together, we can put together, in addition to that, just some things that maybe were problems with some of those first installations, or I should say issues with those first installations that, we can give them the heads up on. I know, one thing that came out, but they still couldn't install it because they didn't have the Windows 365 license, was with the police chiefs. I forget what it is, but it might be IMC, but it's a program that's restricted to police departments, and that's something they'd have to get the information from to pull over. So.
Okay. All right. Let's try to catch up and just quantify what's left, and put our heads around what we need to ask them to do.
I want to be specific this time. I think it just, I think number one, they got busy, and number two, I think it had been probably too long from the first deployment that it wasn't fresh in any of their minds again of what the steps were.
Sure.
So if we spell it out for them, I think we'll be much better off, and it'll be much more productive.
Mm-hmm. And then does that include the problem with those 2 docking stations at Highway and Library?
That issue is separate, and actually we won't know what the true resolve to that is until the new ones are back in stock, so I can get a new one for them to see if that new one actually resolves it or not. I kind of doubt it, that it's really, in my mind, I'm pretty sure that those 2 that we had that failed were defective, only because we have not had any other issues, and they had worked up until that point. But like I say, the one piece of the puzzle that kind of throws that out the window is we did have extra docking stations, so I had given some to Rolf to actually try that as a resolve, and that didn't work. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they provide a summary of hours in terms of what they've done to date?
I'll go back and take a look at that that invoice. I believe it did have the hours on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because there's some stuff that was out of their hands. There's some stuff that was out of our hands. I mean, they recommended a dock and sold it to you and installed it and had issues. You've got to meet us halfway on that at least. So yeah, we can look at that when we regroup.
Sure.
I guess I have an open-ended question about CARES Act laptops. So is there more funding in CARES Act that we may want to consider using for upgrading other computers in town for CARES Act, so that with that CARES Act money upgrading those laptops so that we can include those in this round of upgrades, or we think this is the set that we had originally identified is it?
This is it, unless we want to go to more laptops, which I am not recommending, because after just going through what I've seen with these four, it's a great way to fund them, but to me, it's a, shall we say, service open-ended nightmare until we can afford somebody to be on contract to take care of some of these issues that come up with them. And the flip side is, like I say, the ones that are remaining to me don't make any sense to go to laptops. And the CARES Act funding was just basically the reason we got 100% funding for these was because of the remote capabilities that they had.
Thank you. That's a very, very good and thorough answer.
All right. Any other
However, on the flip side, there may be other areas that we can use some of that CARES Act funding for that might work into some of the other things we want to do that I have to look into a little deeper. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've still got some money that we can reprogram and spend before the end of December. So.
Right.
And that's before the American Rescue Plan really hits us. We have some of that money already, but we haven't gotten, too far in terms of figuring out how we're going to spend that. But some of that is definitely infrastructure and broadband focus. Right, Ed?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's things that can be done if we make a plan. I mean, that's the issue there. I keep having somebody show up at my door. I'm sorry. One quick thing before I have to run again. I've had more than one person, including myself at Town Hall, complain about this whole interface with Hotmail, Yahoo, and Outlook. People's emails are just not getting through on the town email. People send to people that have got those addresses, and either they can receive, but they can't return something. So somewhere we've got to figure out that spam filter or whatever it is with, I don't know if it's with Bluehost or whether it's with Hotmail or Outlook and Yahoo, but all three of those seem to be issues of, people not getting through. So
has anybody engaged with Bluehost to say, we have an issue, can you look into this?
Yes.
You've opened tickets with them and
yeah. It's basically on that Microsoft platform on their end that we have no control over.
So they're claiming that it's Hotmail that is doing the blocking, not Bluehost. So that's like
Hotmail, MSN, to some extent, not as much as Hotmail, but they're all the older Microsoft platforms.
So these people can't send and receive emails?
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of people said, well, forget it. I'm going to go and do a Gmail account then. If I can't use my other email, I'll have to open up another account, which, I mean, people need to be able to communicate with town hall. And we don't know if people are getting through or not if they have these addresses, but I know my Hotmail bounces back all the time if I try to use it.
So I guess maybe there's another opportunity for cost savings, right? If we maybe, I think this is a question for the Dans, Breen and I, to look into. If we move our email host, it would solve the problem, right? So maybe there's a way we can do that and save the town money at the same time.
Yeah, the only question is it just moving the email host, or is it also changing the domain?
I believe
they're separate. You can keep the domain. Ed, can you send us the email exchanges that you're having with them? Because maybe there's something in there that we can identify, or maybe somebody's not communicating correctly because it's a pretty technical issue.
Sure.
And I know you've probably provided us this before, but the cost of Bluehost email service.
Other than storage, it's zero.
Oh, so they don't charge for email addresses?
No, and that was actually one of their suggestions with going through this issue, was because we're on their free email, it was to upgrade it to one we would pay for. So I don't know if that would take care of the issue either, but that's, like I say, that was another cost, but that was one of their suggestions.
Well, that's kind of scary when they suggest that giving them money will solve the problem.
Yeah,
exactly. That makes me feel uncomfortable about them. But it's also... Yeah.
and going back a few items, just to let you know that I had texted Randall, and the transfer station does not have an internet connection, so they could not do a voice over IP phone, even if we wanted to include them in that.
Thank you.
Ed, you said that we're on the free email plan?
Yeah, I believe he said that.
Okay.
I'm always a kind of a you get what you pay for kind of guy.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, I don't pay for Gmail, and it works pretty darn good, I have to say.
It has its pluses and it has a lot of minuses.
Okay, true, right. My data privacy may be what I'm paying. Right, fair enough.
Well, that's what I'm thinking with the town, that maybe we should be, I mean, granted, everything is public record or should be, but if you're paying nothing, then you are the product, is what everyone's been saying lately anyway, with all the hacks and everything. So if we're on the free email plan, you get what you pay for, you are the product. As a town, maybe we should pay a little more or something.
So I'm gonna.
Okay, you're right, Megan. You can say it.
I think.
How much is hosted Gmail? Is it $5 a user a month? I mean, it seems like
for the basic, yeah.
And how many email accounts do we need? I think we discussed that at some point.
It was like 130 or something.
Oh,
I don't know why that sticks out, but
that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I was thinking like 120, so 130 could be the number.
And then we also talked about aliases and what could be kind of downgraded to just an alias.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That didn't really go anywhere, did it?
Yeah, I think Chris said that she couldn't really think of too many that she could weed out.
Okay.
If I recall. I'm not speaking for her, but I think that's what she said.
You know, it might be an interesting experiment for one of these addresses that's having trouble communicating with Hotmail or MSN or whatever those hosts are, to migrate one of them for $5 and see if that alleviates the issue, right? Like,
I mean, we know it's going to, right? Because they just create a Gmail account and it'll work.
oh, but they have to have the town of Southampton email address,
Yeah.
right? They still want to have that part.
Yeah, still has to come from the domain.
Email address. Unfortunately, it's all or nothing.
Oh, okay, darn.
All right, well, we can think about, you guys can kind of mull upon different options for perhaps other email platforms. But I'd like to get more information on exactly, it's got to be, we should be able to nail down what domains are bumping, right? Like which domains can't come through our system from the outside. I only have a Gmail account, so it's not like I can help test, but if anyone's got an MSN account or Hotmail account, try spamming someone at the office and seeing if they get it. Maybe get some logs or something.
For the older email services, I know, not for a fact, but in what sends in an email, there's like different formats and different code that we can't see when we read the body, but it could have a snippet of code in the header that just totally throws off the spam filter because it's an older server and not too many people have Hotmail anymore. So that could, if it is an older Microsoft issue, Hotmail, MSN, that could just be throwing off.
I have so at one point, Chris sent me one of the examples, so I could share my screen and show you what it says if you guys would like.
Sure.
Okay, let me share one of my screens. Which screen is that one? This guy. Share. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what she had sent me. So town delivery failure sender Hotmail. So she has a Hotmail account. Here from remote server.
Part of your network's on a block list.
Should be able to take care of that.
You see the solution in this already?
Yep. S3140.
Just tell me you already know the answer? Tell me the answer.
I just did.
Yeah, right at the bottom.
Oh, the thing at the bottom?
Yeah, just above that, just above the domain. Yeah. Please contact your ISP since part of their network is on our block list. So Outlook doesn't like some network that's been segregated, right? There's some dark place on the web that's been tagged as a danger. And that where this email is coming from is from that danger zone. Like Simba's never supposed to go there, right? Remember in Lion King? That's where.
I think it came from Chris's house.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you, that's what it says. That's what
Chris,
that means.
we're talking about you.
What came from my house? What?
We're looking into the email issue.
Yeah.
And as soon as I pulled this up, Mike Jager's like, oh, this is your problem right here, S3140.
Uh-huh.
Which apparently, Mike, you can explain what that means.
Well, I'm speaking in lay terms, but basically what that message is saying is part of the internet has been tagged and then blocked. That IP address, 162.144.96.210, for whatever reason, one of those domains, 144 or 162, I don't know which part of that domain of that IP has been tagged. But that's, I mean, in plain English, that's what it's saying is, hey, I don't want anything to do with this message because it originated from this IP address. Well, I don't like it.
So
So how do you, I mean, so that's my Hotmail. So how do I fix it then?
I don't know. I mean, Hotmail is like as Megan was saying before, depending on how you're using the Hotmail, your Outlook client may be generating code. Megan could probably speak better to it than I can, but your Outlook client may be generating code that this mail server doesn't like.
Well,
So-
okay, but it's not just my Hotmail. I know other people in town that have got Hotmails that are having the issues too. So it could
Yeah.
be mine, but it's also more generic, I think, to Hotmail. And then I was at the Board of Assessors meeting last night, and the new person on the board has got an Outlook account, and he's not getting anything. So he was going to give up and switch to a Gmail account.
So, like, what do you do with Hotmail? Like, are you doing personal business with, or like, government business?
This is my personal, yeah, this is basically my personal email, yeah.
So when you try to send an email from Hotmail to your email at Town of Southampton, that's the hang up?
Yep.
Are you using Outlook or using their web interface?
I think it's just the web interface from Hotmail.
So you're
That
just
makes
going to
sense.
hotmail.com or whatever.
Oh, so online there's a bunch of people who have issues with the S3140. And someone said, sending from my phone did work, thanks. My friend has no idea about filters or such and hasn't changed browsers or anything, maybe on the Hotmail side. I'm also being sent to trash, no returned email from some local government emails I have sent to. Some are running Outlook.
Yeah.
So it is a popular issue.
Yeah.
And it's not just our local government.
Yeah. Well, and some of the town government emails go to trash too. They don't seem to make it through. I don't know. I don't understand what the issue is, but I know I'm not the only one. I say this as a sample to show what was the problem from my end or what I was getting back. I mean, sometimes, if I send from my Town of Southampton email, sometimes I'll just copy my Hotmail just to have it on my personal email. And so that never goes through when I do that.
Oh, wait, did I misunderstand this? This is an email you sent from Town of Southampton to Hotmail?
Yes. Let's see. Hang on. Let me think. I can't see it really. Well, it came back. So it came back to me at Town of Southampton. So yeah, I would have probably originated it.
Send it to Hotmail? Because the original message is from the mailer daemon at server at Town of Southampton. So that tells me you were sending something to the Town of Southampton.
I was sending from the town of my email from me at Town of Southampton, which is my official email.
To yourself.
And I probably copied myself or sent it to somebody else's Hotmail. I must have copied this one to myself or something on my personal email as well. On this one, I don't know what it was now. I can't read it, but
I don't see that there though.
I'm just trying to determine
so she tried to send it to herself at Hotmail, and then this bounced back. The original message is from the Southampton servers, sending it to her Town of Southampton email, which is where she had tried to send originally. So that would make sense. So
Okay.
it refused to send it to Hotmail.
yeah.
Okay, I had thought it was the other way around. Hotmail wasn't coming in, but this is the other way around. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Caught up now.
So I think it's, some of those same issues. And like I say, I've just heard about it with everybody else that's got old email. So both the Outlook and the Yahoos as well. I tend to get, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just.
So common issues is, of course, spam. If it's spamming the email too often, your email authentication fails, which is the SPF record. Usually, not to get too technical, but that basically makes sure that you're not spam, that your email is not spam. So email authentication, and then the DNS is incorrect, which it doesn't really go into detail on that, but that would probably be the SPF record. And then the big one would be you're sending email to unknown users. So because maybe it doesn't recognize Hotmail as a trusted domain, check sender reputation, authenticate your email, SPF and the DKIM, Outlook Postmaster Services, and the blacklist removal form, which apparently you have to contact Microsoft to get that removed. So
Yeah, I just sent a link out that has a bunch of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. I just sent it out a few minutes ago, but it has a bunch of that in case anybody wants to dig into that, because it has. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's the exact same link that we're.
It is the exact same one.
Okay.
And once I get going, I just have my blinders up. I'm so sorry.
No worries. No, that's interesting. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and so like I say, it's more than just me. I mean, it's citizens in town that are trying to get a message through, that they might get a message through, but then I don't know if the answer gets back to them. They may, if the town of Southampton doesn't go back to Hotmail in response, then they sit there and think that they've never been responded to. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I can forward you one the next time I do it, but I mean, I don't know. But I know I'm not the only one.
There, I can put in a support request to.
Oh, I thought
Microsoft.
You meant to us. You were going to submit a ticket to our group.
No, it says right from David's link. There's a blacklist removal form. I'm not sure if it's appropriate that I do it, but maybe Ed or someone from the town should do it.
Ed said he just lost power. Sorry, he lost power and internet, so he fell off the cliff here. He's at home, I think. So whatever this is, it's just been a constant issue. This is not new. This has been months of this, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I know. I've worked with you, Chris, on it.
Right.
A couple times.
Yeah. So yeah. And I
wonder if Bluehost's configuration, maybe one of their paid plans, gives you the stronger SPF records. I just did a look up on their SPF, and there's a couple warnings about it. I'm not sure if there's any DCAM records in there either. Sounds like throwing money at this problem might be the only way to solve it.
Sounds like ransom.
It'd be ransom if we were actually, we have to actually, we're getting something for free,
That's
so
true.
We should actually have to start paying for something for a service that we need,
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a cause of frustration, I know. And then,
well, this is a good discussion. I'm glad you brought it up and they're talking about it, because I think we have an idea where to go with it now.
Okay. Good. And I think the only other thing, and maybe you guys already talked about it, so sorry, but I'll just mention it. When I was in town hall yesterday, those that have still got desktops, there's a couple of people just seem to be bouncing off the server. They have trouble connecting to the server some days for whatever reason. So like the assistant assessor yesterday, and I think even Ed's assistant the other day, they just couldn't get online at all somehow. And then just, and these are probably more Ed things to solve, but I know even just printing from the assessor's office to the big main copier in the break room, nothing was printing. So whether it's a printer driver or something needs to be reset, I don't know. But
I fixed that this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
When
Good.
I found out about it, we've had some glitches. It's probably weather related.
Okay.
And it ended up, I checked the status and such, everything looked fine, but it just had to reboot the main printer and everything came back.
Okay, good.
So,
yep.
Periodically, after this type of stuff, I'd go down and reboot the server, but I keep hands off now, and that type of stuff that's got to be done on a routine basis, and it's not. So
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think that's part of the issue. So as you get back onto that survey issue, those kinds of questions. Who do you call when you got a problem? It's like, well, people sort of sit there and say, I don't know what to do, and maybe they'll walk down the hall and talk to Ed, or maybe they won't. But they sit there frustrated instead. So it's a challenge, to say the least. But
I mean, the beauty of 365, right? So,
yeah.
Till we get there, we're going to have this, and like I said, I got fed up with doing it, and enough's enough.
Yeah. So good.
Okay.
And I can say that because I'm old and grumpy.
Yep.
All right. So the other And the other thing we had for other business was some stuff that Art sent over. I actually did write it down. I'm a little better than I thought I was as far as taking notes. There are some grant opportunities that we need to be looking into this year. I'm going to be working with Ed on that. Real sort of sensitive stuff, and Art also brought up the fact that Windows 11 is coming out pretty soon, so we should probably watch list this and parking lot it, or just keep it on our radar to start figuring out how or why or when, all these sort of things, if we need to upgrade and when and how. So I'm not speaking for you, Art, if you'd like to.
No, no, thanks, Mike. That pretty much covered it. I saw that the other day. One thing of interest, and it's sort of an aside, and Megan and David, you guys are probably all over this, but I brought back an old, not an old, but when we put the laptop in the building department, that freed up a nice little Optiplex, which I wasn't going to throw away. I put it on the shelf. I got a new desktop for my large format scanner, which I set up and got running, and now I moved it down into the studio down in the basement, so I have more room and I can start putting the blueprints. I'm working on the town hall blueprints right now, so that we'll always have a digital copy of this stuff in case, God forbid, something happens. But I got the old desktop back, and I said, oh, let me hook it up. And of course, I didn't want to mess with splitters and all that, so I just came in Wi-Fi wise and set it up. And then I said I was having all sorts of problems hooking up to basically a Wi-Fi printer that I have in the office, and this is Windows 7, and it was driving me crazy. So after Joel Hasner was goosing me some months ago about Windows 10, about being free, I got online and boom, I downloaded it. And I could not believe in my wildest ever that Microsoft could pull this off, but I was able to download it. The thing that took the longest is the obvious one, is the updates. And everything came up absolutely perfect. I did not lose a damn file. I did not lose any software, any third-party software, whatever. It was miraculous. I've never seen anything like that from Microsoft before. So if we want to bring some of these from 7 up to 10, well, I mean, it was easy, and I could do it. It takes about a couple hours to do that, and at least that would open us up for 11, and it's free. There's no charge at all to do that. So just as an aside, but yeah, I was just totally flabbergasted that Microsoft could. I always thought. Windows is, and it really is in some ways, is the worst operating system I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm an old VMS person from DEC. You guys don't remember DEC, but I used to work there, and that was a real operating system. So, but that's out there, and I certainly can help facilitate some of that if that makes sense. And of course, the other thing that Mike mentioned was the grant. And I believe it's, what was that, Mike? October, we better be close to submitting that, and it better be just one project, not 18 projects, one project that we concentrate on. And I think I showed you, we were eligible, or could be eligible for some huge bucks. There were places getting $50,000, $100,000 on these grants, and we got a measly $6,800 2 years ago.
Is this the Community Compact IT grant?
It is. Yes.
Okay. Good.
So I'll shut up. Thank you.
No, you don't have to ever shut up. It's all valuable stuff. I do have your write-up that you sent me. I'm looking at it right now. You gave me a lot of good information. I'll take some of that and make sure it's in the minutes of this meeting, and that way we're always building off, these things, not forgetting about them. But So yeah, that's a thing we really want to. I think it says you made a comment that we're not eligible for this year, but if we
No, that was last
year.
We're talking fiscal year, so we're into the new fiscal year, so we are eligible this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years.
All right. I wanted to clarify that because when I read that, I thought, okay, is the money, whatever we put forth, would that be forthcoming for 2022?
Fiscal.
Like if we were,
Yeah.
okay.
And we're in fiscal 22 now, so.
All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we definitely need to apply for something there for sure.
All right. So I'm going to start diving into that, doing some research about how to be effective in this space, especially in this particular space. And then I'll work with Ed and whoever else I need to work with on this. Anybody else have experience doing this stuff?
No, but can I throw an idea out there for a project?
Sure.
I don't know. All my ideas cost too much money anyways.
Hey, there's big bucks to be had, so fire away.
At one point, Kim Florick mentioned that the Norris School had fiber, and they may be a good site. They may have all the hosting capability for fiber at Norris. And perhaps the project of linking Norris School to Town Hall would allow us to achieve fiber at Town Hall. That's my idea.
So you're going to say fiber to the transfer station. So this is way back.
Our garbage needs to be tracked, okay?
I was just on there today. That would have been cool, yeah. That's a good one.
That's it.
All right. So I tagged that as a possible grant item that we'd be seeking money for, is maybe developing a circuit from Norris to Town Hall. Did I say that right?
Yes. Yeah. I think there was something based on a comment that Kim Florick had made in a previous meeting about some infrastructure that may already exist in Norris. So
Right.
There's some background investigation to be done about what's already at Norris and would it.
That one could be pretty powerful, hooking up the education side. The politicians love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And running wires can get expensive, so we can spend our money pretty quick that way. All right, David.
I mean, yeah, even that short distance, getting pole attachment rights and everything like that can get expensive. But, thankfully it's not too far. So the optics, like the lasers you need for that are pretty minimal. It's not out of the realm of believability.
And doing that would basically eliminate our issues with broadband and our phone system.
Yeah,
I want to make sure I understand that the implications of bringing fiber in.
If the Norris School already has the fiber link, then yes, it would.
I'd like to know how they got it, and we didn't get it.
I think it has something to do with Easthampton Media.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, why didn't we get it? Versus they get it. Jeez, oh, God.
Yeah, I know some fiber split.
Crazy, huh?
We know what pole it's on.
All right. Okay, so that was kind of our other business. I looked at Dan's stuff, and then we covered voting the new chair, and so that's done. Anybody else have any other new business? Those are all good things. All right, anything that we need to, okay, sorry, Chris. You're about to say.
No, I was just going to say, sorry, I missed it. Did you guys decide that you're going to carry out that survey sometime with the folks at Town Hall?
The department head survey?
Yeah, the ones, well, you want to wait, I guess the question is, until the rest of them get their laptops before you do just 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to develop the survey questions.
Yeah.
I have them as written down in the minutes, the last meeting, so we can start developing those and add any others.
Yeah.
Make sure, if Ed said we were only going to have one more day of work, probably not going to get all of everything deployed anytime soon. So I guess we'll have to think about whether we want to go forward without all the users deployed.
Okay.
Or scratch that question, maybe.
Well, I definitely know that they would welcome the input and the chance to give you guys feedback. So if it can be scheduled, I mean, normally I think he would do a department head meeting after we do select board. So maybe next Thursday would be the meeting, but it's during the day. So, unless somebody could be there, I guess it would have to be.
I could do the 29th. Would the 29th be the one after? Is it every 2 weeks?
Well, select board's every 2 weeks. I'm not sure how often he's doing the meetings.
We did a doodle poll for it, right?
We did a doodle poll.
Yeah. I mean, we're meeting with select board on the 13th and the 27th. So chances are that he might have a department head meeting on the 15th, but I'm not positive on that.
If there's anything the week of the 26th to the 30th, I'm off that week, so I can go to town.
Okay. Yeah.
I can also attend, I believe, as long as I have a few days heads up. And I'm happy just to go there and I'm without even delivering one question. I'm just happy to go there and meet everybody and let everybody say whatever they want to say. And I'll just sit there and listen to it.
Yeah. No, that would be good. So I think they would welcome that chance to give input or feedback.
Yeah. And I think it'd be helpful for us to get it. So
I'll send an email to Ed asking if there's a meeting that week. Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just making a note. Okay, supervisor.
I learned what a quad map is today.
In what context?
Oh, I'm joking because it's for a project I'm working on for Chris. So it's a topographical map, a certain type of topographical map. So
it's actually a project I'm working on for you, Dan.
Well, we're all working on this stuff for the town, so this is for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah. It's a Parks Commission grant application.
So Dan, you into the sun or something there? I see Soleil.
Oh, so I finally switched over to my new computer, and I call it Soleil because it's really bright with all the LEDs I have in it. So
it's a gaming operation. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, but it's also my Zoom operation because my laptop was overheating every time I use Zoom. So it is now Zoom/gaming. So.
Boys and their toys.
Oh, everybody's got their things.
Oh,
I'm sure you do too. So
I got a room full of toys in here.
Well, normally he's got an acoustic guitar sitting behind him. Now he's got a nice electric back.
You noticed I bought an electric guitar? Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Is that a Stratocaster?
No, it's actually a replacement for my first guitar I ever had, a Yamaha Pacifica, and I really like them. Even though they're
Strat copies.
Yeah, they're Strat copies, and they're like beginner guitars, but it's one of my favorites. I like the sound out of it, and I'm happy with it. And it's only like $200, so yeah, I don't need to spend more money. I'm happy.
I got a guitar you should play. Not to take everyone else's time, but it's costs less than that, and you'll probably like it a lot better.
Okay, yeah. Sometime we'll have to talk guitars and hang out. And usually I have a fancy Martin acoustic if I really want to like show off, but you know.
All right, everybody. So I'll have a motion to adjourn, and we'll get everybody back there 30 minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. So I think we're all done here, and unless anyone doesn't want to adjourn right now. Okay. So
anybody wants to talk about guitars, hang back.
We'll have another meeting for this.
Yeah, totally.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
See
Have a good night.
Everybody. Bye-bye.